like listening to Toxic Radio?
Goddamn right.
But don't forget, this is the 21st century.
Join us in the social media world. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pornhub.
Pornhub?
Nah, just kidding. Or am I? Toxic Radio.
Get infected.
It's Toxic Radio, and 'tis the season for frightening masks, demonic voices, and men in heavy face makeup.
I'll swallow your soul!
And you might even see some people trick-or-treating, too.
Swallow this.
At Toxic Radio, we do Halloween just a little bit harder. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
In the beginning, there was radio.
The radio is one of the outstanding developments of the 20th century.
A radio transmitter was used for large-scale public entertainment.
Then came computers.
You gotta keep up with the times, you know.
Imprints of man's never-ending path of progress.
Back in my day, we didn't have no fancy computer boxes to use.
Shall we play a game?
The internet tied it all together.
The internet gave us a whole world of exciting new possibilities.
A bright new era dawning. A new dimension in communications.
It is possible to establish communication instantaneously from any place at any time.
And now it's the 21st century, and we've made it all toxic.
Hold on to your hats. Okay, we're ready to roll.
This is Toxic Radio. Don't play it safe. Play it toxic.
That's what I'm talking about!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is Birds Deep. I am the Godfrey, THEEGODFREY, and to me, to my left, or right, you can't tell, is Gene.
Mean! Whoa! Gene.
Me and Gene. That's right. We're going to talk about birds last week. Well, it's been since Thursday, so, more than the usual 7 days in between games, 8 days, Monday night, whatever. We're going to digest that. We're going to get into Hurts. What do we learn about the coach? What do we learn about Jalen? Grade it. We talk about this game coming up. Can the Eagles win? Et cetera, et cetera. Gene, what do you got on the docket tonight as well?
I got a ton to get into. First and foremost, we got to talk about the Eagles and the Buccaneers game and what our grades were I posted them on the Birds Deep group. But also, I'm very optimistic about Sunday. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm very optimistic about this Sunday's game. So that's what I want to get into. I got some fool's gold, whatever. Counterfeit green.
Same principle,
same
premise. I got a quote too. And listen, I don't know if I'm as optimistic, but maybe I could be convinced. We'll see. But last Thursday, in the words of Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were. I mean, that's what I thought. It didn't play out exactly how I thought, but I didn't think they were going to win. They covered.
Covered the spread.
Thank you, Nick Sirianni,
for
going for those 2 points.
Thank you.
Yep. But, I mean...
As if I need one still. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, cheesesteaks are good, though. At least you didn't bet the South Street Taco.
No.
Our hot bet take of the week failed miserably. Sorry, Pat. That's going to rest in peace. If any of you want to get at us and give us your Eagles prediction, you can hit us up on the social medias. THEEGODFREY. You can find me on all the platforms. Gene, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Gene Walczak. Very simple. Name's right on the screen. GENEWALCZAK, or Wire to Wire Sports Podcast, or Birds Deep Facebook page. So however you want, I'm always responding. I will always give you the time of day, but as soon as you say something stupid, I'm going to put you right in line and let you know what you said that was dumb.
Now, if you can make a good case, I'll fire up the phone lines for you so Mike has to spend his money and have you call in. But you got to make the case to me before we say you're going to call in. So But that opportunity is out there, and we're not going to be hard critics saying, if you're going to tell me the Eagles are going to pull off an upset, I'm going to need some reasoning behind it. I'm going to need.
I got a gut feeling.
Gut feelings don't work.
No.
Joey Bag of Donuts takes aren't going to work. So that was a Joey Bag of Donuts take. But with that being said, yeah, the Eagles. They came out, they scored. It was 7-0 Bucks, and then the Eagles answered right back, right? But they needed the aid of a pass interference penalty to really get the ball down the field, correct?
It's funny. Up until the third quarter, they had more yards on pass interference calls than they did on actual yards.
You said that's funny. I said that's fucking depressing.
It is. Funny, depressing, however you want to look at it. But I'm trying to be like an optimist with this team. I'm still like, the book isn't closed on Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni. I think anybody that's closing the book on them already is asinine. But with that being said, there still needs a lot of work to be done. Only 9 carries to Miles Sanders. He had 65 yards, or 6 yards a carry, 6.5 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
That's embarrassing, man.
This isn't the team to run against. However, I think if you're having trouble executing pass plays, which is obviously what's going on here, whether it's the coach, whether it's both, and the quarterback, even if the team you're facing is stout against the run, you're still going to have to run the ball. Now, not having Lane Johnson doesn't help, but still, I agree with you.
They ran the ball fine, though. Listen, I'm not telling you to run the ball every down. This isn't 3 yards in a cloud of dust football. This is basic elementary shit. You got a young quarterback that's inaccurate. The only way to take the pressure off him is make them put 7 or 8 guys in the box. You know what's funny? I'll tell you, the NFL is a copycat league, and Jalen Hurts had a 103 quarterback rating the first 2 games when throwing the ball on first down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it was weeks 3, 4, 5, and 6?
And it wasn't 103.
38.
Yeah.
It's a league when they figure out what you're trying to do, they adjust. The Eagles need to adjust, and this young head coach isn't close to adjusting yet. And that's the problem. That's what needs to get fixed.
So one would say that the combination that they made of a young and experienced coach with a inexperienced quarterback might have not been a good combination to say, hey, if we bring in an experienced coach that knows how to hone the skills of a quarterback, might be better off in this situation, in my opinion. I don't know if Nick really knows how to. He hasn't shown he has. I haven't seen.
So wide receivers coach.
Right.
That's what he is.
Well, wide receivers are doing great then.
They're not.
No.
Jalen Reagor had a goose egg, 0 catches.
That was a hell of an interception call. It fooled me at first. I had no audio on, so I thought he caught it. I texted Gene. I was like, did you see that catch by Reagor? And he's like, he didn't catch it. I'm like, oh, shit. No sound on, watching it, in the car while I'm driving. I have a TV in my car, and I'm like, oh, he caught that. And then I'm on the phone with my girl, and I'm like, oh, shit, he didn't catch that.
Leading wide receiver in the game was Quez Watkins, who had 4 receptions for 39 yards.
Yeah.
And Reagor still had more snaps than him for 0 catches. 44 snaps to 40. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I feel like they trust Reagor more than Watkins, even though they shouldn't. I don't know why. But I'm not a fan of that. However, here's my thing. I'm not closing the book on Jalen right now, but it's getting closer. And we'll see as time goes on. I was pretty generous with my grade last week. I don't know if I'll be as generous this week, but if you don't have a quarterback in the NFL, you don't know what your team is, really. You do to a certain extent, but, there's just throws he made that just, baffle me. You got to hit some of these open throws that any quarterback's going to hit. And I'm not talking about hard throws. I'm not even talking about a deep ball. There's just certain throws. Didn't you feel like there were certain basic throws he should be able to complete and make?
1,000%.
Right.
He was playing against guys they took off the street at cornerback. Their most experienced cornerback was Richard Sherman coming in the game. He got hurt in the second quarter.
Oh, he lasted that long? I thought he was even out.
It might have been first. I was just giving him a little bit more credit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They had guys coming off the street playing cornerback, and we couldn't throw on them.
So when I see a young quarterback, one of the things I want to know is, can they throw the ball? But one thing that is got to be part of their ascension is, can they take advantage of a mismatch, of a plus match for them? And in my opinion, coming into that game, even though the Buccaneers are the better team, their passing game versus that secondary should have been a plus matchup, and it didn't play out that way. They made those guys look like they were way better than they actually were, and some of these throws, it just the deep ball isn't there for him. I don't know if he doesn't have the confidence or doesn't have the arm, but again, the hardest thing for a quarterback to do, especially a quarterback coming from a big-time program, is the windows are so much smaller to throw in college than college. College, some of those windows are wide open. Like I'll watch college highlights, and I'm like, that guy just ran through a hole I could have drove a bus through. And yeah, it's a great highlight, but that's not happening in the pros the majority of the time. You're not seeing runs like Henry last week where he takes it this distance. That's a special run. You don't see that all the time.
He's a special running back.
Yeah.
Look, we were talking about something a minute ago, and I didn't want to get off track. Jalen Hurts, we were talking about Nick Sirianni's play calling, and you said he thinks he had more trust in Jalen Reagor as far as why he got more snaps. Both of those things I don't think come from Nick Sirianni. I've been very clear. I think those things come from the front office. Mm-hmm. I think they hired a talking head at coach, and they told him we want to throw the ball, and they told him that we want to, we don't want Howie to look bad, so we're going to start Jalen Reagor and give him every opportunity in the world. It's the reason Andre Dillard was still seeing snaps in the preseason when Mailata was clearly outplaying him. Yeah. And the truth is, that front office consistently meddles in the situation. It's the reason Doug got fed up. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie need to understand their roles in the Eagles organization and truly stop getting involved in the coaching. Now, with that being said, I don't know how they can get out of it at this point. They hired Nick Sirianni, who is literally a walking head.
Well, if you're Nick Sirianni and you get offered that job, you're taking it, right?
Correct. He didn't interview anywhere else. It's his second job in a row where a coach didn't interview anywhere else and got the job in Philadelphia. I want you to think about that for a minute. Doug Peterson didn't interview anywhere.
But it turned out for Doug.
It did. We won a Super Bowl.
Right.
But can I ask you a real serious question? And I don't mean to be a dickhead when I say this. But, and it's really tough to say this, as the Eagles won the Super Bowl. But do you really believe that, Doug Peterson won that Super Bowl?
Well, when you say won, do you mean with the play calling? Do you mean
like he's a Super Bowl winning head coach at this point, right? Do you believe that he was 20% of it, 10% of it, 5% of it?
The reason why I'm going to give him probably a higher percentage than if you're thinking, I don't know what percentage you're thinking. I'll give him at least 40, and I'm going to tell you why.
40?
Yeah, this is why.
Okay.
Because he did something in that Super Bowl that a lot of people.
I hope you say Philly special. I really do.
He played. A lot of people played scared against Brady, and he's looking at the defense. He's seeing the offense, and he said, "We're going to go." He went for it on fourth down several times. Philly special was a fourth down, but there was several fourth down plays where they went for it, right? And they were key pickups.
Isn't it proven that Frank Wright is still doing that in Indianapolis? Isn't it proven that Frank Wright?
But what has Frank Wright really done? I mean, do you think it was Frank?
What?
I mean, what has he really done, though?
He's went to the playoffs 2 straight years. He was on the verge of beating Buffalo last year with 40-year-old Phillip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
He's also basically resurrected Carson Wentz's career the last 3 weeks. What do you mean, what has Frank Wright done?
Yeah, but
Frank Wright had Andrew Luck retire on him his first year and still went to the playoffs with Jacoby Brissett.
No, they did not go to the playoffs that year.
Yeah, they were wild card. They lost in the first round.
No, they did not go to the playoffs. They should have went to the playoffs that year if Adam Vinatieri didn't have the yips the whole year because they missed a lot of games. But they did not go with Jacoby Brissett. I know that for a fact because I picked them that year to win more games than I thought they would, and they lost more because Adam Vinatieri said, "You know what? I'm going to retire."
And they had 40-year-old Phillip Rivers in the playoffs last year and almost beat Buffalo.
So here's the thing. I'm not saying Frank's not a good coach. I just think we put him on a pedestal in Philadelphia. I just there's games where I've seen where he's been awful too.
When?
Who? Talking about Reich, right?
Yes, please.
Are we just going by the Wentz era or this whole body of work?
Any era you want.
I mean, the Wentz era is such a small sample. I can't really go by that.
16, 17. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about as a Colts coach.
Okay.
I mean, there's games where I'm like, well, why aren't they running the ball? There's just different philosophies. I'm not saying he's a horrible coach. I'm just saying I just feel like the whole Frank Reich was the sauce behind the whole Eagles thing. I don't know, man.
It was Frank. It was John. It was Jim Schwartz.
They had a lot of good coaches.
Doug surrounded himself with a former head coach, a current head coach, and a quarterback guru in John DeFilippo, who's proven that everywhere he's went, he's made quarterbacks better. Now, is he headstrong? Yes.
Except when he went to Jacksonville with Nick Foles. That didn't really work out for DeFilippo.
Gardner Minshew.
Or didn't work out for
Nick Foles got hurt.
Didn't work out for him in Minnesota either. You remember?
It did. Case Keenum.
No, Case Keenum, DeFilippo was on the Super Bowl team, correct?
Yeah,
Case Keenum, yeah, the next year I don't know. Did they keep Case Keenum or did he sign with? No, he signed with the Broncos.
The next year after they won the Super Bowl, or if they lost to the Eagles in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's because they went and got Kirk Cousins the next year. But
I thought that was the following year, but okay.
Yeah, because he went to the Broncos, and I just remember this because Troy Aikman was talking about it last night. How John Elway was saying how Case Keenum was going to be the guy for them, and I'm really excited about. Case.
I thought in 18 Case Keenum was still there. I thought 19 Kirk Cousins signed there. 19, 20, 21 is last year's contract.
No,
3 years, 84
I forget
million.
why Case came out of nowhere. Who was playing that year for the Vikings? But
I'm gonna look it up. You keep talking.
I think Reich is good. Don't get me wrong. Would I like him as the Eagles coach right now? Yes, I would. But I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just talking in relation to the Super Bowl. And listen, I think Doug made a lot of gutsy fourth down calls. And maybe if we're seeing Reich do that, yeah, he did that too. But, should have the Colts beat the Ravens that night? Were there a couple bad calls, or was it execution? I mean, you got a kicker out there that's got a bad hip. I mean, it's a fair question to ask Reich about that Ravens game. I don't know. We'll see. We're a long way away from that now anyway. Be a good problem to have. Maybe Frank Reich will tank, and then he'll be the Eagles coach next year.
Oh, it's not going to happen. I would love it. I'd be too happy.
That's not going to happen. But
he also wouldn't take the front office meddling. And
I mean, I do believe that there's some of that going on. I don't discount that at all.
Some.
But, I mean, to what extent? I mean, doesn't a lot of owners meddle? I mean, Jerry Jones is the king of meddling. Daniel Snyder is the worst.
And they didn't win until he stopped meddling.
But what have they won, right?
They're looking like a franchise.
They do look good.
Now.
They do look good. I'm not that Eagles fan that won't give the other guys credit. But the Cowboys do look good so far. So, I mean, let's grade Jalen Hurts.
D.
Okay, that's pretty much where I'm at too. I did D+, but fuck it, D-. I'm not going to fight anybody on that one. What made you give him the D? Like, what did you see that where you're like, wow, this is awful?
He was inaccurate. He missed open receivers. He constantly was trying to scramble around the pocket. His throws were completely off base. He turned the ball over. You tell me.
I mean, I'm not far off from what you're saying. And, here's the thing. We're in a chicken before the egg situation, right?
Okay.
Because is it Nick Sirianni's play calling?
No.
Is it Hurts?
Yes.
Is it both? Okay. I tend to agree with you that it's Hurts. And the reason I'm saying that is if you don't like Nick's play calling and his mix of run and pass, totally get it. But when Jalen has the opportunity to make a pass and complete a pass or throw it, and he doesn't, I mean, that's execution. That's not play calling. That's not the whole body of the game. And I'm not seeing him take his opportunities and do elementary things that a starting quarterback needs to do, and I need to see that start ascending up for me to believe in him. When I look at other QBs where they are like, oh, well, he's not a plus passer, but he could become a better passer. Well, I'm not seeing that kind of spark from him.
That's the job of a quarterback, is to pass the football.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be a smart ass when I say that, but, like, he's not a good passer. That's his fucking job.
Right.
Is to pass the football.
But he's not a plus passer. Like, I mean, some guys are better at passing the ball. I mean, he's not doing basic passing, like, meaning he's not hitting open guys. Like, you have to hit open guys. You have to. I mean, one thing that I remember.
I don't think Nick Sirianni is doing him any favors, to be clear.
True.
Like, I don't think he's doing a good job, like, game planning or scheming. But with that being said, I can't say that it's Sirianni's fault that Hurts looks awful.
Yeah, I can't.
He's not helping him.
He's
But
definitely not. I agree 100%. But I'm remembering the play where he went to throw a deep ball, and Troy Aikman criticized the way he was throwing the deep ball. He's holding on to the ball too long before he releases the ball.
You're talking about the one where he should have thrown it 5-10 yards before the receiver.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's waiting way too long.
You know why? He had to wind up to make that throw.
And that's not good.
That's crazy.
It's like watching a guy try to shoot a 3-throw underhand. Like, it's not. I mean, the arm strength concerns me, but what concerns me more is the ability to hit an open receiver just open. Like, it's not a tough throw in a tight window. How are you missing that? And
he can't read defenses either.
And that's the problem. That is a huge
He's
problem.
a one-read quarterback at this point. And listen, at this point.
Are you impressed with his scrambling skills?
I mean, he's quick. Yeah, sure.
But overall, I mean, when you see certain quarterbacks scramble, you're like, wow, that guy's elusive. He can move. Do you get the feeling that Hurts is elusive?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not. I'm on the fence.
He's not Kyler Murray. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he's elusive.
Wish he was Lamar Jackson. Wish he was kind of like this guy right here back in the day. But Randall was his own type of guy.
Randall had a cannon.
Randall
Moon had a cannon.
Randall was before his time, in my opinion. It's just totally before his time.
Randall. I mean, if we want to be clear, Randall was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson was the thought process.
Yeah, and Randall had he can punt, he could throw. Anyway, that's one of my first quarterbacks I laid eyes on as a baby Eagles fan. So kind of partial, but as you can tell by the jersey. But I agree with your grade. So, is it the coach or the QB? We agree it's both. So,
it's just a lot more Hurts than it is Sirianni.
Yeah.
And I think that Sirianni can help Hurts by running the football. Dude, I'm going to come on here every week, and I'm going to have gray hair saying, I don't know how he consistently doesn't run the football. I don't get it. Against the number one rush defense in football, Miles Sanders had 6.5 yards per carry.
I agree, John. He doesn't look that quick to me.
Second, real quick. Against and this is what was more perplexing. The Carolina Panthers have a top 10 defense in football right now. They do. Statistically do. 7th against the run. They knew they were going to run the ball. 2 straight drives. The ones where Miles Sanders ran out of bounds. They knew they were going to run the ball, and they still couldn't stop it, which means these Eagles offensive linemen can run block.
Yeah, and
why are we not moving the sticks? And then on 3rd and 4, it opens up the complete playbook for Hurts to where he can scramble and run for that first down when he needs to.
You know what surprises me about us not running the ball? That is Nick Sirianni, and this is one of the reasons I kind of like the hire, because essentially you're saying he comes from the school of Frank Reich. He was with Frank Reich in San Diego as well, right?
Yes.
So you're thinking he's going to run the ball, because what does Frank Reich do? He runs the ball.
Did you hear a report that came out? Mm-hmm. How Nick Sirianni was the person that had to remind Frank Reich to run the ball? That was a report that just came out recently.
That even pisses me off even more. So
he was the guy that Frank Reich assigned to him to remind him to run the ball.
So to me, when I hear that, what I think we have here is it's called reinvent the wheel syndrome. He knows it works. He's seen a head coach do it. He's reminded a coach that's a good coach to do it. So why is he not doing it? When I look at Kenneth Gainwell, people might disagree with me, but it kind of reminds me of Naeem Hines. And, Miles Sanders isn't as, big of a bruising back as Jonathan Taylor, but he's a talented enough back where you can get these guys in space, you can make things happen, put guys in motion, right? We could do things like that. I mean, I look at Jalen Hurts, and I know people will yell at me for this. If Kyle Shanahan got a hold of him, do you think he'd be able to do something with Jalen Hurts?
Not really.
No?
He's not accurate.
That's true. You can't really
be able to.
You can't really get past that. I mean,
you can't get past the accuracy.
The accuracy is true. So if he's not accurate, you got to put him in a position to make throws that are easy. Build his confidence a little bit. And I agree, this is where the run game is going to have to come into play. And it just makes no sense because Sirianni, if he's a disciple of Frank Reich, why is he not running the fucking ball? I don't get it.
You tell me. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. Jeff, you're absolutely correct. 1st and inches, Hurts in the gun. Why are we starting at the 5 when all you need to do is lean over the line? I completely agree with you, Jeff. Completely.
Puzzling. And I think he's trying to he's overthinking it when I look at Nick Sirianni. I really think he is. And it seems like they're lost as an offense. And I really think it's hurt. Our D hasn't played horrible, right?
That's fair. They haven't. Horrible.
Man.
They played horrible 2 straight weeks. Listen.
When you're playing the safeties in the stands.
I don't know why. I don't know why it felt like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were taking it easy on us. I don't know why.
It definitely
Did it feel that way to you? Because it felt like to me that they passed up a lot of 4th and inches or 4th and 1s that they would normally go for in a big game that they want to win.
I feel like it was they were playing to pick up basketball game and they're like, we got these guys. We're just going to take it easy.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm
like. It's kind of wild that we both think that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching and I'm like, and it didn't feel like Brady turned the dial up. He's like, I'm just going to go to 6. I don't need to go to 10 on this one. Just 6. Already here or there. Yeah, I know when I need to get the first down, A-B, touchdown. It's good. All right, let's get out of Philly.
I agree.
It's just they were relaxed the whole time. Just there was no pressure put on them. Derek Barnett, got in his face, gave him I kind of like that, but it's like, yeah, Derek, get another penalty. Let's do this. So we've pretty much digested that game thoroughly. Agreed?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get in Las Vegas.
So Las Vegas, Eagles fans travel well.
They're predicting 55% Philadelphia Eagles fans,
which is wild, and I believe it because I've been to the London game where the Eagles played the Jags, and it was funny because I made a comment, and I'm going to make this. Don't take this the wrong way. I was like, "Oh, there's Joey from Delco. That's the first time he used his passport." So we're going to get represented over there. You're going to have Manny from North Philly, Joe from Delco, Anthony from South Philly, Billy from Northeast, Brad from Northwest, and Chad from Center City. They're all going to be there. At Vegas, living their best life.
I don't know why you don't have a female representation there.
No, okay. Let's go.
Angie from South Philly.
Megan from Northeast.
Megan from Northeast. You scumbag. I love you.
So, I mean, Eagles fans are going to be having a ball of time out there, but I don't know how I feel about them winning this game. I do think there's a narrative that we'll talk about later on in our Counterfeit Green segment coming up, but the Birds, what do they need to do to win this game? Can they win the game?
They can win the game.
Okay.
You know, this sucks because this is one of those typical Eagles games where I really feel like they're going to walk in there and beat Vegas in Las Vegas. I have not been hiding this. I think that they're set up perfectly for this game. I think the Raiders had their emotional high beating the Broncos after they fired their coach, and we got to get into that John Gruden shit. But they had their emotional high beating the Broncos after, and Broncos are awful. They're awful. They lost to a JV Browns team last night. Do you realize how bad they are? Like, I'm not trying to be a smartass. Like, the Broncos were fool's gold.
I think the Broncos
were counterfeit green.
Yeah, and I think the Broncos have a bad coach. That's a great defensive mind, but not a head coach.
Their defense looked like shit last night.
Yeah, they're banged up to hell on defense.
Bro, they let a third-string running back run for 6 yards of carry last night.
Dearness is the beast. I started him on my fantasy team.
Solid start.
Yum, 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 man. I'm eating up points on these heavy bye weeks in fantasy. I'm just saying. I mean, I think Dearness Johnson was hungry, and I think that Broncos team, you can run against them in general. It doesn't matter week 1, fucking 6. It doesn't matter.
You can't run versus them. I can't run versus them.
Right. I meant an NFL caliber.
But these aren't really NFL caliber running backs.
I mean,
they're not.
Dearness looked good, man.
Yeah, he looked good because he went against the Broncos. Let's see how he looks when he goes against the Steelers.
But he ripped off 150. I mean, well, the Steelers just gave up 100 to Alex Collins.
My point being is I would love to see how the third-string running back would look versus a formidable defense, a team that didn't lose to a bunch of practice squad players last night.
Well, I don't want to see that because I had Nick Chubb on my fantasy team, so I need him to be back.
You want Chubb to be back? I get it.
But I hear you on that, and they beat a Broncos team, but they should have beat this Broncos team because they're not as good as we thought, right? And Chris says Raiders run the ball, they will control more of the clock. Philly will consistently go 3 and out. Hurts is not good. Can't argue with you there, but
I got news for you, Chris. The Eagles are going to win this football game.
Okay.
Listen, as much as I don't like the Jekyll and Hyde situation the Eagles are in.
That's Jekyll and Hyde for sure.
But I think the Eagles win this football game. I think they're going to run the ball to Miles Sanders a lot more this week. I think all it's funny because Nick Sirianni went with Angelo Monday morning, and he went on there. He's like, yeah, after 4 days of research, we really took it. We realized we need to run the football more. I'm sitting there like, every Eagle fan knew that at halftime. Like, you didn't need 4 days of research.
I know people. I would rather Nick Sirianni be like Bill Belichick and then be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm not talking to you. I'd rather him be like that because of the way he is. But that's not going to happen.
Chris, I'm not asking you to get behind the kid. Throw that out there real quick. He said, Gene, I hope you're right. I really do, being a fan, but I can't get behind this kid. I'm not asking you to get behind him. I'm asking you to give him a full season as a chance and just really understand. You got to understand, he played at Alabama, Oklahoma. He can be a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Like, if you are out on Jalen Hurts already, you're just not. He can be a good quarterback. Give him 17 games, and let's see how he looks at the end of the season. And anybody talking about Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco, just stop, dude. They're not going to be our future quarterback. So why not see what you have in Jalen Hurts?
Over under for when you start hearing Gardner Minshew.
I'm already hearing it.
Like, it's going to be so loud. Like 3 games, 4 games.
I mean, it really depends. If they lose to Las Vegas and Detroit, they're in a lot of fucking trouble.
If they lose to Detroit, that's bad.
They got Las Vegas and
Jared
Detroit.
Goff comes in here like Joe
They
Montana.
could easily be 4-4 though after these next 2 games.
Yeah.
They win this game versus Las Vegas and then beat Detroit. They're 4-4. They're right back in the thick of things.
They could have easily been 3-3 if they took advantage of the 49ers game. That was a winnable game.
I told you that was. That was what we talked about earlier. I think that it's funny because I argue with people on Facebook all the time, and they're like, well, they're both 2-4, talking about Wentz and Hurts. I said, well, Wentz would have won the 49ers game. It would be 3-3. So let's just be clear. And I think Hurts probably would have lost the Dolphins game for the Colts.
Yeah, it's not even an argument for me. I can't even get into that discussion of Wentz versus Hurts. It's not even an argument. I mean, if you watch football, come on. I mean, I'm not as Wentz left town. I'm not a fan of how it happened and him really, but he's better than Hurts.
Yes, he's better.
You can't say right now.
Right now,
you might want him to not be as good as Hurts.
I would love for Hurts to be better. I'm an Eagles fan.
I would too. But Wentz is the better quarterback.
Not what my eyes are telling me, though.
So, how did the Eagles win? I mean, we know the Raiders like to run the ball. They got some good defensive players. Perryman's good. Their linebacker.
My favorite player on that defense is a rookie by the name of Trevon Moehrig. I love him. I'm a big fan of him from TCU. He's a safety. He's getting better and better each week. He's going to be a ball hawk in this league for years. I love the way the kid plays football. I love the kid on their line. I forget the kid's name. He's just another great inspirational story of a guy that overcame addiction. For whatever reason, I lost his name.
Come on, Waller? Waller had an addiction problem.
They have a defensive lineman, same thing. Waller did too. There's a team full of good character players. He's a defensive end. Someone help me out here. I'll look it up while we're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you're getting Dallas Goedert back and Lane Johnson, which is a huge thing. I'm glad Lane's back. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why he was gone, but he's back. He said there's personal reasons, and I'm glad it's sorted out. Dallas Goedert, COVID. He's back. He says he's not feeling weak where he can't play. People were talking about his rotation. Is he still feeling some of the effects or side effects after having COVID? And I think Dallas Goedert is going to be key for them because the way they're going to have to win this game is they're going to have to shorten the field. They're going to have to run the ball. You're going to have to use Dallas Goedert to convert third downs. And here's the thing that's really been killing the Eagles. When you're 2nd and 9 and you're 3rd and 11 and you have these 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, and you're not converting these third downs, this is the problem here. Like, you're going to have to get a good 4 or 3 yards at least on the first down, and then you have the option of going past, then run, or vice versa in that succession. And with Dallas Goedert being there, I think that gives them a plus big body receiver where he can just get the ball there. You have a guy with a big catch radius. Because really, when I look at the Eagles receivers, the one thing that they lack is size, right?
Well, yeah, they wanted to build a mini version of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yep.
So,
except we don't have
a lot of really, really good points on the Birds deep line. Jordan Mailata back at left tackle. So Lane will be at right tackle.
That's a plus.
So you'll have Kelsey, Lane, and Mailata all in the game, which is, to me, is solid. Landon Dickerson's getting better each week. I don't care what you say. You got to watch him play. He's getting better each week. Now he's playing at left guard. He's looking a little bit stronger each week. Love the kid from Alabama. I really think he's going to be a staple of this offensive line for years and years to come.
Guard's an interesting position because you have a really good center. And that really affects I know it sounds weird, but that really affects the development of guards, especially younger guards. When you have a center like Kelsey there, he's playing off of the center, right? I mean,
yeah, Dickerson's going to be the replacement center when Kelsey retires.
So he's in a good position there. He's got the pedigree there. I mean, I don't know if he looks over to Dillard like, "Yo, are you okay, bro?" Like
Max Crosby is the guy who was talking about.
They were on the team at one point, right? Dillard and Dickerson.
Dillard was the left tackle for Baylor. Dickerson was for Bama.
I thought Dillard came from Bama.
No, Dillard came from Baylor.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Because we could be wrong. We betting cheesesteaks?
Yeah, if you want. Wherever you want.
I swear he came from Baylor, but
okay,
not Baylor. Now you got me saying it. But either way, you got some youth there.
Dillard went to Washington State.
Did he? Okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
We were both wrong.
He went to Baylor.
We're both wrong. Way off. Maybe there was a guy I was dreaming of that the Eagles should have took and they didn't take him. So, Dillard, yeah, he sucks. No.
And the Raiders are having a lot of problems with their Alabama left tackle, Alex Leatherwood.
Yeah.
He's being destroyed. So they're trying to move him around. Yeah, but they're trying to move him around. They're going to start him all year, and he's getting literally annihilated.
And Richie Incognito is still out, I believe, right?
Correct.
And I know he's a good guard. I mean, even at the ancient age of like 90 years old, he's still a good guard. But you got to attack their defense. Their defensive line's okay. They're not an overwhelming defense, but they do make plays, and I think they've been playing on emotion really because I always feel like a John Gruden team does that in general. But I don't know if I buy the narrative that is coming out, as we're going to talk later on about. They're upset about it now, and they're just skipping last week where they won, and they're going to beat them because they're still not over John Gruden. I don't know if I really buy that, but okay, we'll see. Because
it's a downgrade head coach. As much as a dirtbag John Gruden is after reading all those emails, he's still a downgraded head coach.
It is, but one thing that their staff has that the Eagles staff doesn't have is a lot of experienced coaches on that staff. Rob Marinelli, I forget the guy's name. That's the interim head coach, but he's been around, been a special teams coach for a while. Who am I thinking about too? Is Bill Callahan on that team as the offensive line coach? I could be wrong. The defensive coach, is Jack Del Rio on that team too as a defensive coach?
No.
Can't remember who their defensive coordinators. I feel like Jack Del Rio used to be on there, but whatever.
He was. Their coach is Rick I can't say his last name. Basia, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll give you the whole coaching staff for you if you want.
So
Gus Bradley's on that team.
That's who it is. Gus Bradley, former failed head coach, but really good
Gus
coach.
Bus.
The Gus
Good
Bus.
defensive coordinator.
Remember how Eagles fans were pining for that guy? So that didn't really work out.
And Tom Cable, a former head coach, is their offensive line coach.
Yeah, and he's an offensive line guru. That's another example of a guy.
He is. Tom Cable's
He's never should have been a head coach, but he was an offensive line coach, and that's what he's good at. So the only coach I trust on the Eagles is the offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland. That's really the only coach I trust. I mean, is there any other coach you're like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing, brings a lot to the table? Did you hear their explanation of the RPO from Jonathan Gannon? Or Gannon's the defensive coordinator. Who's the offensive coordinator? So I can't remember his name, but it doesn't matter. We're just gonna call him some guy. So the guy who runs the offense for the Eagles, this guy, they asked him about RPOs, and he's like, yeah, I ran it a couple times, but the quarterback coach knows how to do it, you know. And I'm like, okay, that's great. He's just like, yeah, I did it. I did it every.
It's Shane Steichen.
Shane Steichen. He's like, yeah, I did it a couple times.
And Nick Sirianni is the one that runs their offense. FYI.
Yeah, but they were asking him. They're like, yeah, we did it a few times. I'm like, you did it a few times. It just didn't invoke confidence in me. So, again, the RPOs. Don't you think that's something that they just kind of need to get away from, and they need to do other things? Like teams they're sitting on it. I mean, do we need to get away from the RPOs? The league adjusts, like you said, right? The league is adjusting to these RPOs.
I just think the Eagles are really bad at running RPOs. I don't think they need to get away better. I don't think they need to get away from them. I think they need to get better at them. So, like, too many times in an RPO, Jalen Hurts holds the ball too long. Mm-hmm. So when he holds the ball too long, you're essentially getting offensive linemen downfield.
Right. That's hence the penalties that we get for offensive.
Correct. Also, when they run the RPO, he too many times pulls the ball out of the running back's stomach to run himself. I don't like the read option.
Could that also be a reason why Miles Sanders is getting less carries on the stat sheet?
No, because if you're a head coach of this football team, you're calling a run play without a run pass option. You're calling a fucking run play to the running back.
So the thing about the run pass option, you do have to be a quick decision maker in that offense.
And he's not. He's young.
Right. So again, it doesn't seem like Jalen Hurts is ready for the RPO.
No, he's not.
They need to dumb down the offense. And I've seen this happen with other quarterbacks that came in the league. I mean, I remember when Russell Wilson first came in the league. He wasn't doing what he does now or what he's doing last year before that. They made it run heavy. Granted, they have Marshawn Lynch. Eagles don't have that, but they have serviceable running backs. I mean, I'm sorry. It needs to happen. And you know me, I'm not a guy that's like, you need to run the ball. That's how you can always win. 40 yards in a cloud of dust. That's not always the answer. But in this case, it is.
Let me ask you a question. Who's the Eagles' leading rusher right now?
Oh, leading rusher?
Yes. Most rushing yards.
It's got to be Jalen Hurts, right?
Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Jalen Hurts has 53 attempts. Miles Sanders has 57. I need you to understand how obnoxious that is.
Very obnoxious.
I need you to understand how ridiculous that is.
Very ridiculous. Well, listen, if the Eagles are influencing, like you said, from the top to pass the ball more, this ship is going to sink fucking fast. It's going to sink fast. There's no way you're going to be able to keep doing that game after game.
I don't mind if it sinks. I really don't. I think that the Eagles getting a top draft pick, firing Howie Roseman, and getting a lot more talent in here, getting 3 top 10 picks, which
you know
is
what
possible.
scares me, though?
I don't think they're getting 3 top 10 picks. I think the Colts are going to keep winning games, but that's just my opinion. But getting Miami's top 10 pick, getting our top 10 pick, and then getting a pick in the teens or 20s with Indianapolis.
Let me ask you a question.
I'll take it.
Do you feel confident with the man who's going to be taking the swings and making those picks?
They're going to fire Howie Roseman.
So, do you think so?
They're going to fire Howie Roseman. I'm telling you right now.
Or do they just put Baby in the corner?
Listen to me. Listen to me. Look at the camera. Listen to me. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to fire Howie Roseman after Carson Wentz is 7-4 or 7-5. They
don't even wait for the season to be over.
December he gets fired. The Eagles have 4 wins, 5 wins, and the Colts are 7-5. Howie gets fired. I'm telling you, he's getting fired.
I would love that. I just, I mean, listen, last time Howie messed it up, they put him in a corner. They didn't fire him. And they brought him back.
I'm telling you right now.
It's like the WWE.
He is not making
How many times can Ric Flair come back to the wrestling
He's not making those draft picks. He will not make those draft picks.
I got to tell you, I'm not excited about the draft if he's making the picks. I'm fearful. I feel like he's going to draft Jalen Rager's third cousin. You know, that should have been like a 5th-round draft pick because he had a great Twitter video of his 40, which we know is bullshit now. Yeah, I'm not impressed by 40 videos anymore. I think the 40 is important, speed's important. I think it's one of the most overrated things for receivers out there. You need speed, but you got to know how to play football and run a route, and I can go through a litany of people that ran a great 40 that didn't do shit in the NFL. Didn't do anything. Darius Hayward-Bay. I mean, I can go on.
John
Ross, another one. Whatever. I have a lot. I just don't care. It's the truth. We all know it's the truth. Rocket Ishmael. I remember him. That's way back.
Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin, another one.
Every time you name one, I'm going to name another one.
How about Urban Meyer playing Tavon Austin and Jamal Agnew over Laviska Shenault? What the fuck is that guy thinking? No, let's get Jamal Agnew and Tavon Austin the ball with their young
quarterback. It's funny because one of the quotes I was thinking about was Urban Meyer's. Every week it's Alabama.
Yeah.
It was a funny quote, but I can't drag on them. They just got their first win.
Yeah.
They went to London and beat Miami, so
that's actually I think they'll be the London Jaguars not too long from now.
We'll see.
Their owner owns a Premier League team. Well, they got relegated, but anyway. So we're in agreement. Eagles need to run the ball. We're not really far apart on that. Do you agree that they got to shorten up the game? Meaning,
you know what concerns me in this game the most?
What?
Derek Carr's play action.
Derek Carr?
I think his play action will slow down the Eagles' pass rush, and we have to avoid big plays by Henry Ruggs.
I feel like Derek Carr is having a good season so far. I mean, I think it's not a popular take, but I really do. I do. I mean, and listen.
Not a terrible season.
Not. I mean, if he was on the Eagles, he wouldn't be looking that bad right now. He's getting Ruggs the ball. I think Waller is going to be. We'll talk D now. Waller is going to be the biggest concern for us. I think. As far who's covering the tight end? Do you think we're going to be able to cover him? Well, I mean, Waller's a beast of a man.
Well, Eric Wilson might not play.
Okay, but even if Eric Wilson was playing, I mean, Waller versus Wilson, you're taking Waller.
No, I think they should have Rodney McLeod guarding Waller. I think you put a safety on him. Okay. You have to have one safety over top for Henry Ruggs, and then you have to put a safety on Waller because he's like a wide receiver. I personally believe that the Philadelphia Eagles' biggest concern is stopping Josh Jacobs. You've seen what a bruising running back did with Leonard Fournette. It was like he was just bigger than the Eagles linebackers. He was bigger than our front line. We got bullied in that game a lot. I think their biggest concern is having to stop the run, and the play action is the thing that scares me the most.
He's been executing it well.
When you're putting 6, 7, 8 guys in the box, and then Derek Carr hitting that play action pass to Henry Ruggs is what I'm concerned with. Got to give all the credit to the Slaymaker, man. Can we stop shitting on him? The PFF stat came out this week where
he's the least of the problems right now.
Oh the Slaymaker is that guy, bro. I love Darius Slay. Can we if in Philadelphia doesn't stop shitting on Darius Slay, I will lose my mind.
He's
our best player.
Least of the problem.
He's our best player, and it's not close. It is not close.
Yeah, this energy drink from The Rock. I don't know how I feel about it.
It stinks.
I don't know how I feel
it's
about it.
It's absolutely terrible. I don't want an advertisement from the guy. It is awful.
Actually, I'll say it's great if you give us an advertisement.
You guys ever had Soa? It stinks.
I will drink the shit out of it if you give us an advertisement. I don't care.
I won't.
I don't even care if it tastes like someone pissed on vitamins and put it in a can.
Jesus.
Vitamin A.
So
not the chewable kind.
Let's get into a little bit more of the defense breakdown. How do you think that the Philadelphia Eagles defense responds this week after having 10 days to prepare? What do you think they come out and do? Give me a score prediction and why?
Whew. I mean, I think.
Come on, you had to know where you're going here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles. I mean, I think the D-line could do some damage here in this matchup. They're a little beat up. They're not playing as well, the offensive line for the Raiders, and that's where it's going to have to be at. You know, they play the safeties, I mean, all the way in the stands, so, you know, Henry Ruggs shouldn't get behind them, although that'd be the time they would. So I just think you're going to have to get pressure with your front four and you're going to have to make Derek Carr move off his spot, and that's what's going to have to happen here. I know Derek Carr's not really he's decent, he's average on the run, but that's not his strength, right? If you sit back there and let him pick you off, that's going to be a problem. And he's not a prolific passer, but I just feel like he's making plays happen. I don't know with the Eagles. They're an anomaly right now. I have not seen any form of consistency out of them in almost 99% of their team.
I think this is another high-scoring game. I think if you have to pick it, you would pick the over. I think
What's the over?
I think it's 49. I'm gonna look that up for me.
Yeah, I got it.
I think it's a high-scoring game. I think that this is one of those games you pick the over. I think the Eagles are going to be able to move the ball fairly significantly. I think they're going to start fast. I think they're going to have a good game plan. I think the Raiders are going to start flat with they're not their head coach there. I think the Eagles win the game in a very close manner, maybe 31-28.
Over under is 48.5, and the line is now
really close.
And the line now is -2.5. They're trying to suck you in.
I was really close.
-2.5. Interesting. 4-2 team. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, listen. Okay. Can the Eagles win? Yeah. Do I want them to win as an Eagles fan? Absolutely. But I don't think they're going to win. I'm going to go with the Eagles losing here.
Okay.
And I think the Eagles show a little bit more. I have them losing, like, if I'm going 32-28.
So you have it close, too.
Actually, let's go 32-29.
3-point game.
Yep.
Okay. I have them winning a 3-point game. Just for the record, I have one loss on the season. Boom.
So, do I have one loss? I think I do. What game? Oh, the Carolina Panthers.
You had the Eagles covering last week, right? Versus Tampa?
Yeah, I had them losing.
But covering?
Yeah, I had them covering.
Yeah, so did I.
But I was wrong on the Panthers game. I had them losing on the Panthers game. They didn't.
I had them winning the Panthers game. I had them winning the Cowboys game, which was my mistake. But the problem is I can't, and this is where I'll lose 2 games a year. I can't pick the Cowboys beat the Eagles. I just can't do it. I hate Dallas so much. Like, honestly, like I've taught the 6-year-old that's in my life that Dallas sucks is okay to say. I don't care how old he is. Dallas sucks is a real thing. Like, you have to say Dallas sucks. Like, I've taught him how to say Dallas sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, listen.
It's good parenting.
I think so. Why not? I hate the Giants more personally, but, that's just me from where I grew up. I hate the Giants more. But I do hate the Cowboys. But I will definitely win a fantasy championship with a Cowboy. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I won't.
I will draft Zeke Elliott and start him every week. I don't give a shit.
Screw Zeke. All right, so I want to get into a quote.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Sure. It's an oldie but a goodie. As you see, I'm wearing an old school Eagles jersey here. Gonna go with a Buddy Ryan quote. One of my favorites. If you listen to the fans, you'll be sitting up there with them. Now, can the fans be right? Sure they can. But it's always more complicated because we don't get to see all the way under the hood. And if I'm Nick Sirianni, I feel like he listens too much. I really do. Shut all that shit out and do what you do. I really think he listens too much. I think he sounds like someone who manages a McDonald's that's getting feedback from a fucking customer about why their cheeseburger is bad. Like, when he's on Angelo, I feel like he's groveling almost. And it hurts to listen. So don't listen to the fans, listen to Buddy Ryan, okay? That's where I'm at with my quote.
I need I really, really wish that I had more people listening live to this. I need to screen record it.
Screen record it?
Yeah.
Mike, hit Control-Alt-Delete. No, I'm just joking.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, you go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits. And don't tell me you're not where you want to be because him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. It's a Rocky speech to his son, and my speech to the Philadelphia Eagles is right now the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place.
It's a dirty piece of gum under a desk for them right now.
And it will beat you to your knees, Ben Simmons, and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles cannot allow this season, this 2-4 start, this whatever, stop them from moving forward. I need the Philadelphia Eagles to move forward and win this football game and run the fucking ball.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think it's the only way. You've done everything else besides run the ball. Why don't you try running the ball? Be perfect. Try everything under the kitchen sink.
Be perfect. I like that. You know, it's a Friday Night Lights quote right there.
Be perfect. Yeah. So we got our counterfeit green, and I feel like we're forgetting something. Are we forgetting something?
I don't think we're forgetting anything. I think we're having a great time.
Yeah, I feel like we're forgetting something. But you can hit our counterfeit green. I'll hit you with mine first. So I'm listening to the airwaves, Talk Sports Radio, get my inspiration, hear what the fans are saying. It's good to, listen to that because you really can get how the fans are feeling. Depending on what station you listen to, I know the host will control the narrative, so to speak. But the counterfeit green for me this week is that the Eagles are going to walk in there with a win because the Raiders are reeling from John Gruden. I don't buy that for a second. I really don't. I don't buy it. They won the week after that, so it's extended. They beat the Broncos, so what? Everybody was like, I heard people picking the Broncos last week. Oh, they're not going to be able to rise above this. And they're professional athletes. They went out there and played fucking football. I mean, I don't believe that either. I hear a lot of people putting Eagles-colored sunglasses on saying, oh, well, when I have to hear about an intangible to be the reason why you're going to come out and win after a bad loss, that's a minus for me. I don't see that working out. If that's the reason why they're going to win, it's counterfeit green.
I like the way you spun that with if that's the reason they're going to win. My counterfeit green this week is Joe DeCamara.
Joe DeCamara, wow.
All right, so Joe DeCamara has one of the best, not best, but one of the most used sound bites on WIP. Carson stinks. He sucks. Now listen, if you're not a Carson guy, you didn't believe in Carson last year, that's perfectly fine. You didn't have a great season. That's not an issue. What is an issue is he's already calling Jalen Hurts stinks.
Yeah, he was out 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes. It's counterfeit by me for him to call for Jalen Hurts the entire year last year.
Fair.
And in 4 weeks, he's already giving up on him. If we lived in a Joe DeCamara world, we'd replace our quarterback every 4 weeks. He is what's wrong with Philadelphia sports media. He is what's wrong with people that talk constantly on the radio about what the Eagles need to do and armchair quarterbacks that don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I kind of like Joe, but I can kind of
there
concur
is
with your
nobody that watches more football than me. Ron Jaworski?
No.
Nobody.
Not even Jaws.
I watch Red Zone all day Sunday. I watch the NFL ticket, the NFL 30-minute games. I watch every single one of them repeated. I watched the Eagles game 3 times. Once when they play it, once on repeat Monday morning, and then once before our show. So I understand more about the football game. So I can go into the trenches and talk about it. I'm just as qualified to talk about this Philadelphia Eagles team as anybody. This guy gets on the radio and wants to bench quarterbacks when we have no backup that is a future franchise quarterback.
Possible. Yeah.
You have a young kid. You want to give him every opportunity in the world. You want to give him all 17 weeks. And for you to constantly be out on the Philadelphia Eagles quarterbacks 4 to 6 weeks into the season, dude, you're counterfeit green to me, dude. Sorry. That's all there is to it. Richie said it best. Ike Reese said it best. Give him time.
Fight. K.O.
Yeah, listen. I don't disagree with you. I like Joe DeCamara, but I can't disagree with your take on that because he's definitely one that was out on him, Wentz, and now he's out on Hurts. And, that goes back to the old saying. Philadelphia Eagles fans love the backup. They love the backup. And now some of them are calling for the backup again.
And that's terrible.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
if people didn't know, the Eagles are hoping Jalen Hurts works out because you have a second-round franchise quarterback. That's a cheap contract. They want that. They want that to happen. Then you take all those picks and build around the team, and you're not going to get a quarterback. They definitely want that to happen in the worst way. So they're going to give him every shot. Nick Sirianni's not going to get canned this year, and he's not going to get canned after the first year, I believe, unless they go they lose I don't know, the next 10 out of 11 games or something. Then that might be the case. He has to exhibit that he has no ability to coach, and I just don't see that because they're going to give Jalen Hurts a shot, and then I think they'll reassess at the end of the season. But there was no plan to make the playoffs this year. If you thought the Eagles were making the playoffs, I know some people were talking about it hey, you might be able to win a division. Cowboys are running away from it.
After Atlanta, we were hearing people call 11-6, 12-5.
Yeah. Atlanta, come on, Atlanta, please. They got Cordell Patterson at running back. Please, give me a break. The Eagles were not going to make the playoffs this year. That was not going to happen, and the Cowboys are running away from it. You might not want to hear that, but they're running away from it, and they're playing good. Dak looks good. That simple. I agree with you on the counterfeit green there because that's just thing. There's a guy for me though that I kind of think is a little bit worse, and he dies with his takes, and that's Elliott Short-Parks. ESPN.
Oh, he's the worst. I didn't want to bring him up because he's awful.
I call him.
I hate giving
ETP Elliott Troll-Parks because every take he has is a troll take, and I can't stand troll takes because it's not real sports. It's just you having the opposite take that you know is going to fan the flames, and you're going to pet the trolls.
I got to give him credit. Let me give him credit. He is one of 2 sports analysts that I really physically wanted to fight. Listening to them talk, makes me physically want to fight them.
Wait, at the same time, you mean?
Elliott Short-Parks and Skip Bayless.
Oh.
They're the 2 guys that, when I listen to them talk, I want to throw them or shove them against the wall.
Well, that's because they're fake takes. They're fake takes.
Those 2 guys just get a reaction out of me, and I give him credit because he has it on his Twitter. If you read his Twitter, it says a bad take is better than no take at all.
Yeah, he's a takesman. I mean, I don't dig that. I will just turn it off because if I know you're not talking real sports and you're just trying to get a rise, I don't dig it.
And it works for me. I'm such an idiot. They get a rise out of me every single time.
I'd rather listen to some of the old school guys like Jody Mack.
He blocked me on Facebook.
Really?
Elliot.
I got blocked by McFoley. He got blocked by Elliot. What did you say to him?
I just kept telling him how much of an idiot he was and how his takes were ridiculous and how a nerd like him shouldn't be talking about football. It's the truth.
I got blocked by Marcus Hayes. So I called him.
Marcus Hayes blocks everybody though. If you
I was on
argue
Facebook
with Marcus Hayes, he will block you.
I don't
get it.
I called him a blowhard and he blocked me.
A blowhard? He got blocked you for that? You got a thicker skin than that. So just call him Ben Simmons at that point.
Well, I did that because he was going in on Carson in the season. I was like, all right, man, it just seems like, Anyway, I got to say, though, it's still going to be fun to watch the game Sunday.
I'm going to watch every minute of it.
Yeah, and that's what we do because we're birds deep here. But I think the Eagles have a shot to win. I'm sticking to my gun, still picking them to lose by 3 points.
Yeah, I think they're going to win by 3. One thing I wanted to add before this show ends, because we're kind of running up against it, is we're going to be down at the Link, Toxic Radio and Birds Deep. It's going to be down at the Link. You putting your finger up. Is everything good?
November 7th. We're saying we're number 1.
November 7th. We'll be down at the Link, and we're going to go live from down there. We're going to have a podcast from down there previewing the Eagles-Bolts game. I'm so looking forward to that. So if you guys ever want to come down and see us hang out, we'll have some Toxic Radio giveaways, a bunch of shit. Like this Toxic Radio is headed so far into the clouds. Like they are on the biggest upswing right now, and it's so cool to be a part of this radio station. So I wanted to take the time to at least thank everybody at Toxic Radio and for putting together this event. And I can't wait to see some of you guys out there. I'm sure a bunch of you guys will come out, hang out, giveaways, listen to our Birds Deep takes, and I will debate anybody that wants it. And I want to have a trivia contest too if you want. I love Eagles trivia. So
yeah, we can do that. And oh, look at that. Mike's got a little graphic there.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Awesome. I remember my first time I used Adobe Photoshop. No, I'm just joking. Great job, Mike.
Jesus.
Great job, Mike. Great job. No, it is. That was a great job by Mike. I just like messing with Mike, but it's awesome. Mike came up with this idea, actually, and he's not even a football fan, which is great because he knows where the party's at.
He knows. Well, first of all, it says it perfectly, and give Fishman a lot of credit for that commercial. It's Sunday. We're going to party a Sunday in November. What do you live under a rock? It's for an Eagles game.
Yeah.
Like I love that. I love that whole concept.
Yeah, and listen, don't think I'm rude if you come say hi to me and I'm like, listen, give me a second. I'll be setting my fantasy lineups before the game starts. I'll talk to you. And
Set your lineups before you get there, Godfrey.
Listen,
it's all about the people showing up.
Shit
you
happens.
shake hands and you kiss babies. Damn it!
I'll be like, hey, thank you very much. Hold on, I gotta make a roster switch. I'll be right back.
Jesus Christ!
You know what's funny? I'm looking forward to this tailgate, but I'm not a big fan of the tailgate because I just like watching the game. But I'm looking forward to this tailgate because
you're not a big fan of tailgate.
I'm just not a big tailgate guy. Just never have been. I don't have anything against it. Some people love it. It just has never been my jam because I feel like when I get caught there.
Do you ever go to like school parties?
Yeah, I've gone to school parties.
I'm just checking because it sounds it's literally like
who goes to school who goes to school party when the football games are on? Anybody have a party?
It's not during a football game. You go before the football game.
That's my point.
Tailgating's before the football game.
So I just like watching it.
We're not going to be tailgating in the middle of the friggin' football game.
Some people do though.
No, they're watching the game out there because they don't want to get tickets. They go hang out down there. They have the game on TVs out there.
Yeah, I like.
You don't even know about tailgate, do you?
I like sitting in a VIP section personally. If I do go to a game, I just like watching the game on TV. I like seeing all the games, and I
like the over. Robert said take the under. I like the over.
Yeah, the under. That's a tough one with those type of games because when you're two inconsistent teams playing, although 4-2 doesn't scream inconsistent, it can go either way on the over under. Just a missed field goal here, a football, a drop touchdown here, or a penalty calling something back. You're like, fuck, there goes the over. So it's one of those things where. I don't know.
The over's a weird bet because it's never hitting until it hits. You're losing the entire game until it hits.
That's true.
So, like, the over is a bet you can lose 98% of the game and then still hit.
Yeah.
But I like the over. I'm part of the Overs Club, Barstool Sports.
Nice. I saw that. I saw him talking about that. I didn't know what that was until I looked up the other day. It sounds pretty cool and fun. Mike, Toxic Mike, we love him for making this happen. November 7th will happen. We're going to try to have some T-shirts ready for you guys by then. There's going to be a lot of merchandise there. Mike, will there be a prize wheel?
There's always a prize wheel wherever Toxic is at. If you come out to any of our live events, we always have a prize wheel.
Nice. Toxic knows how to do merch. So we'll come up with some cool stuff, and we'll have fun with each other. We'll interact. I'm just playing. I'll be there. But I will be checking my fantasy lineups. I'm not going to lie. November 7th is go time.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is, we can give a final thought on John Gruden. Didn't you say that's what it is? You wanted to say something about John Gruden. We can give a final thought on that.
John Gruden is a piece of shit. And I'm not trying to be a smart ass when I say this. You're gonna play a soundbite. I like it.
No. What was it? That's the sound off horn.
I'm so sick of people defending this man. Like, people defending this guy on Facebook, on Twitter, on all that stuff. Oh, well, it wasn't offensive 10 years ago. It's offensive. It's hate speech. I don't really give a shit. If something wasn't offensive 10 years ago, but is offensive now, it was offensive 10 years ago. It's just popular culture caught up to it and actually said it's offensive. Those emails are absolute hate speech.
I agree.
They're racist. They're xenophobic. They're bigotry. It's awful.
Everything under
it's god awful. And John Gruden coming out and having a comment saying the truth will come out. The truth came out. Your emails came out. You got fired. Stay away from the game of football. Take your millions of dollars and retire. You're a racist piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm not good with that stuff.
Awkward. Yeah, that's for John Gruden. But listen, I have a quick little take on that one in the show. A little bit different of take. He's indefensible. What he did was wrong. I think where people get things mixed up with this is they look at him and might identify with him because something like that happened to him. He's in a leadership position, a position of visibility. It's a lot different for a guy like that. So he has a lot more responsibility to have his actions be appropriate. But the one thing I think that, where people get wrong in the way they defend him, and his actions aren't excusable at all, is they look at it like, wow, it was 10 years ago. People can grow and change. Not saying John can or has. I can't really defend what he did. But I think people look at there like, man, I've said stuff like that. Can I evolve? Like, and they get scared because they wrongly relate to that situation.
I have a saying that will counter your saying. When people tell you who they are and show you who they are, believe them.
I think
John
that's
Gruden
true.
showed you who he was.
I think that's true to an extent, but people can change, right? I mean, people have changed. We're not talking about the worst of the worst here.
If he wanted to change, this stuff wouldn't come out 10 years from now, and his response wouldn't be, I'm
you're right.
sickened.
Remember, I'm not
the
saying...
truth will come out.
I'm not saying
this
John.
person.
I'm not saying John Gruden should be forgiven because it was 10 years ago. Not at all. Because you're right. He did have the chance Where he had the chance to say that he changed is when he first responded to it. His response was the incorrect response, right? Which was, I don't hate gay people, I don't hate this. He should have went more into, I changed, I evolved, maybe accepted responsibility and asked for forgiveness. That's not the route he went. And that's why it came down even harder on him.
I follow your point. I disagree completely.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about the common guy out there, but I understand what you're saying. And I do agree with you with his actions. They're inexcusable. You can't. You just can't. And, what was more awkward about it is, one of the first openly gay NFL players coming out in Carl Nassib, and you had that kind of stuff going on in email. I mean, it's kind of awkward. And I wonder how that guy feels. Or I wonder if there's guys on the team that are like, wow, did he really come at me for this and what I did wrong because of this? It's fair for them to think that way and ask that, right? Because I think anybody would. But, yeah, not a good guy. It's a shame. I'm not surprised, though. Are you surprised that he was one of those guys that ended up doing that? Are you surprised? When you look at him overall as a person, were you surprised?
Yes.
Okay. He seemed kind of an abrasive individual in general to me.
He didn't come off as racist and xenophobic.
By the way, I think he's, and people might disagree with this, aside from his horrible comments, I think he's one of the most overrated coaches. Well, ever since he won the Super Bowl, look at his record. I don't think he's been in the playoffs but one time, and we're talking 7 seasons after the Super Bowl, 2 different teams.
I don't want to comment on his coaching. He's never going to coach in the league again.
Yeah, he's never going to coach again. But anyway, guys, thanks for taking it birds deep with us, and that's our final thoughts. And we'll be seeing you next week, same time, same place. And this is D. Godfrey, not saying goodbye, just saying take it deep.